You are here reading these words. Reading means attention is already operating. Attention is the movement of awareness toward experience. Experience is whatever appears in consciousness at this moment. This moment seems ordinary because the mind is accustomed to constantly moving through moments. Movement creates the feeling of a time passing. Time feels real because memory compares what was with what is. Memory stores impressions gathered through experience. Impressions become the material from which identity is constructed. Identity is the image you carry about who you are. An image is never the living reality itself. A photograph of fire cannot produce warmth. In the same way, a mental image of yourself is not the totality of your existence. Still, the mind clings to images because images provide familiarity. Familiarity creates psychological comfort. Comfort reduces uncertainty for a while. The reduction of uncertainty feels safe. Safety is deeply connected to survival. Survival is one of the oldest movements in living organisms. The body survives physically through instinctive intelligence. The psychological mind attempts to survive through continuity. Continuity means maintaining the feeling that I remain the same person across time. That feeling is strengthened by repeating memories. Memories repeat stories. Stories organize experience into meaning. Meaning helps the mind navigate complexity. Complexity increases whenever life changes unexpectedly. Change is unavoidable because existence itself is movement. Even a silent room is filled with subtle movement. Air moves, breath moves, thought moves, emotion moves. Cells within the body continuously change. Nothing observable remains perfectly fixed. The mind notices change through comparison. Comparison requires at least 2 points of reference. One reference is what was, another reference is what is now. The distance between the two creates perception of change. Perception is the process through which experience becomes known. Knowing begins with noticing. Noticing is simpler than analysis. Analysis divides experience into parts. Division can clarify structure, but division can also fragment understanding. Fragmentation occurs when isolated pieces are mistaken for the whole. The whole of life cannot be completely captured by fragments. A single wave cannot represent the entire ocean. Likewise, a single thought cannot represent the entirety of consciousness. Consciousness includes thoughts, emotions, sensations, memories, desires, fears, and perception. Most people notice only the loudest movements inside consciousness. Loud movements demand attention because they carry emotional intensity. Intensity narrows a focus. Narrow focus excludes subtler perceptions. Subtle perceptions become visible only in quiet observation. Quiet observation does not mean forced silence. Forced silence is suppression. Suppression pushes experience beneath awareness without dissolving it. What is suppressed often returns in another form. Fear suppressed may return as anger. Sadness suppressed may return as numbness. Confusion suppressed may return as a distraction. Distraction is frequently an escape from uncomfortable perception. Escape temporarily relieves a pressure. Temporary relief is mistaken for resolution. But unresolved inner movement continues beneath the surface. The surface mind may appear calm while deeper tension remains active. Tension consumes psychological energy. Psychological energy is required for clear perception. When energy is exhausted, the mind becomes dull. Dullness reduces sensitivity. Reduced sensitivity weakens awareness. Awareness depends upon the ability to observe without immediate distortion. Distortion occurs when perception is filtered through fear, desire, prejudice, or attachment. Attachment is emotional dependence upon a person, belief, image, or outcome. Dependence creates fear of loss. Fear of loss strengthens control. Control attempts to stabilize what is inherently unstable. Life resists complete control because life is dynamic. Dynamic means continuously changing and interacting. Interaction connects all forms of existence. Nothing exists completely isolated from everything else. A tree depends upon soil, sunlight, water, and atmosphere. The atmosphere itself depends upon countless living processes. Interdependence is woven into existence. Yet the mind often imagines itself separate from the whole. Separation strengthens the sense of individuality. Individuality has practical value in daily functioning, but psychological isolation creates loneliness. Loneliness is not merely absence of people. Loneliness is the feeling of disconnection from life. Disconnection creates longing. Longing seeks fulfillment through external experiences. External experiences provide stimulation. Stimulation temporarily masks inner emptiness. Temporary masking cannot permanently dissolve emptiness. Therefore, the search continues. The continuation of psychological searching becomes restlessness. Restlessness keeps the mind in constant motion. Constant motion prevents deep observation. Deep observation requires still attention. Still attention is alert without strain. Strain appears when effort becomes conflicted. Conflict divides the mind against itself. One part wants change while another part resists change. Resistance emerges from fear of uncertainty. Uncertainty feels dangerous to the conditioned mind. Conditioning is the accumulation of repeated experiences and conclusions. Repeated conclusions solidify into beliefs. Beliefs shape interpretation. Interpretation influences emotional reaction. Emotional reaction affects behavior. Behavior creates consequences. Consequences generate further experience. Further experience reinforces or weakens conditioning. In this way, the mind continuously reshapes itself through repetition and response.